All right, everybody. Hello again. Welcome to Abyssal Musings number 4.
What's up?
Uh, my name is Samuel the Infamous. This is my channel. And with me is my co-host Lawrence Knight. How you doing, man?
What's going on?
Not bad, not bad. So we got a few people in chat here. Kawhi Masochist is with us tonight. Good to see you. Um, hey, stranger. Uh, and Queen Lala Shields from the Linus channel. Glad to see you join us. So, a couple of things off the top. Number one, I did a solo stream last night, pretty late. Those of you who watch the Linus channel, if you haven't been informed about this, I've done my best to get the word out, but I can't reach everybody. Her channel was suspended for a week, so she will not be doing anything this weekend on her channel. Troll Patrol, hello, hello. Um, And so I was just trying to get the word out there and let everybody know that as best as I can anyway. And hopefully you guys are in better contact with each other than I am with you, and the word will spread like a virus. Call me Samuel 19.
Yeah. For those of you who may be wondering what's going on, it's getting close to that time. It's getting close to the midterms, and so anyone who has a political channel,
Hey,
anybody
Bernie.
who has covered the previous
It's not just that, man. They're hidden
election.
channels that have nothing to do with
Yeah,
politics.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. I'm just speaking squirrely just on the Linus right now. But this is where it started with was the political channels. But anybody who's got anything that has to do with what, they're going back years and striking those videos and pulling them down and doing all these other things and so they've been messing with Amira for a while now. And then it went from that to them just messing with YouTubers in general. I mean, Amira got a copyright strike for her voice. There's a guy that does he has a channel called Ship Life, and he goes on cruises and he works on cruises and he rates them and things like that. He got a copyright strike for his voice by YouTube. So they're just going strike crazy right now, just going after everybody and anybody for any reason. So at first I thought it was just political, but now it just seems like there's no rhyme or reason to
Yeah,
it.
they burning down the house, man.
Yeah, it is stupid because they're opening the door for Rumble. Now, Samuel has known this for a week, but I just found out last night Rumble went public, which means that that money for them is going to start rolling in. Any channel.
What's up, my knitters? So, speaking of Rumble, so guys, I officially have a Rumble channel now. I cannot do any current live streaming or dual stream this over on Rumble at the same time until I've got 100 subs on Rumble. Right now, there's one. It's me. So if you guys wanna support that, the link is in the description of this video and will be henceforth in the description of all videos on YouTube. And it does not have everything I've done on there. There was some technical shit I'm trying to work out, but I think everything from Screaming into the Void number 11, which is the second one that Kat joined us on, everything from then till now, except it is on there now. And then when this stream is finished, it's going to jump over and be mirrored on Rumble, so you'll be able to play it back there. But until we get 100 people subbed up over there, I can't actually do any live streaming. It's just part of the way that Rumble works. So but for now, everything's getting backed up over there, so just so you guys know, and the link is in the description. That said, we're trying to work something out with the Lioness to get kind of a similar thing going with her. It's slow going, but we'll figure it out, and we'll let you guys know as things progress. That said, for the time being, if you need to get a hold of her or let me or want to know what's going on or whatever, I just got my community tab today for some fucking reason. Don't know why. Actually, funny story. So we had a guest on Screaming into the Void a couple of weeks ago, Shadow of Hawk 551, and he's a friend of Cat's, and he came on and we did like a 3.5 hour live stream with this guy. He was a lot of fun. So I subbed to him, and I see a community post. Now he's got 42 subs. The minimum requirement for community tab for unlocking that feature is 500 subs. To the best of my knowledge, 500 or 1,000. I think it's 500. So I see this and I comment on it and I say, "How the hell did you manage this?" And not 30 seconds after I commented on that, YouTube opened up mine, which is just weird. But I'll be putting stuff up on that too. So, some of you may have seen that already. And we will, hey man, appreciate it. Thanks. We'll see how that works out, but I'm glad to have it because that way I can actually like get some communication out without necessarily like streaming in the middle of the night when I should be sleeping.
Yeah.
But for the time being, yeah, if you want to know what's going on with Amir's channel or whatever, you get a hold of me. If you go to my channel tab on YouTube and go to my about page, my email address is there. You can feel free to email me. I can relay stuff to her, or you can ask me questions or whatever, or I can get questions to the other mods, that kind of thing. That said, that's the best way we have to deal with getting the information right now. I think Carrie's working on a backup plan, but I don't know how well that's going for the time being. So this is it. That's pretty much all the announcements that I got. Good to see everybody tonight. I need sleep. I don't ever get it, but I need it. I think most people do.
He's just trolling.
Yeah, I know. It's in his name.
Yep.
So yeah, that said, let's get the party started here.
Alrighty.
So tonight we have planned we're gonna do some horror movie trivia. Larry's got a couple of lists of trivia questions for us tonight. It's gonna be kind of a lot of questions, but I think we'll have fun. And we're also going to talk about he finally had a chance to see the Hellraiser movie. I would recommend, there may be spoilers. If you haven't seen it and you want to see it, maybe when we get to that part, mute, and I'll put something in the chat to let you know when we're done. Because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I also really want to talk about it with somebody who's seen it. No.
Well, I can say this: there won't be spoilers from my part. I know how to watch a movie and then review it without spoiling it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to contain myself. No promises, guys. Hey, Bernie, appreciate it a lot. Thank you. So yeah, do you want to get into that first, then?
Yeah, I mean that's the first thing on our list is the Hellraiser review. Why am I so tongue-tied today?
Yeah, Larry, guys, Larry is determined to make an organized man out of me.
Well, it's not that, guys. It's just
because I'm haphazard as hell.
Well, it's not that, guys. It's just we wanna. I just created a list of topics just for tonight so that we don't go so far off trail that you guys are asking us and asking each other, okay, what the hell were they talking about 5 minutes ago? So and especially tonight, because we've got two horror movie quizzes, and I am introducing Night's entertainment list. So we've got a list of upcoming horror movies, and some names on that list kind of shocked me, because I also saw some remakes that were on there that in some cases I was just like, man, okay, you guys are beating a dead horse at this point. But okay, somebody needs to make some money, I guess, or they've got to finish their contract.
Right.
Anyway, with that,
good to see you, 7-1.
What's going on, 7? With that said, Hellraiser. I watched the movie. I would definitely say I enjoyed it. The lead actress, she did a great job. I'm still shocked that she used to date Jaden Smith. I was like, I just it just caught me out of left field.
See, I didn't know that because I had no idea who the hell she was. But
I
you're
didn't
right.
either.
She did a pretty great job. Joshua, good to see you. Welcome. Um, so yeah, I didn't have any idea who any of the actors in this movie were, with the sole exception of Jamie Clayton, who plays Pinhead.
Hmm.
So yes, Josh, the new one.
And Jamie did a great job.
Yeah, oh, unbelievable. Uh, I was really, really impressed with the presence that the actor brought to that role. I
Yeah,
really
me too.
was. Did a great job. I was enraptured. That was fantastic. I had a few minor quibbles with the movie along the intersectional lines, but I think for the most part they kept that um, to a minimum, and it didn't really detract from the overall movie.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how I wasn't sure if Jamie was gonna pull it off because, I mean, let's face it. I grew up in the I grew up on the Doug Bradley era, and so I'm just used to hearing the deep authoritative voice, versus Jamie's that was to me was even more insidious without having to talk deeper. It was just like it was like dealing with the Grim Reaper, dude.
Man,
It
the
was just
work
like
that they did with the voiceover effects, with just like the voice modulation they did with the Cenobites was unreal. It was so
yeah.
good. You know?
And I wasn't expecting that for a Hulu movie. I was not expecting that. I was expecting like something out of like Lifetime or something. My expectations for this movie were low because it's a Hulu exclusive. So I was
Mhm.
shocked at the quality and the acting.
Yeah, especially so I got Hulu to watch Prey, as I mentioned last time, or maybe at the time before. But and Prey had a lot of things about it that I liked that they did really well, and there was a bunch of shit that was like, okay, that's retarded. But one of the problems that I had with it was the inconsistent CGI. At times it was really good, like almost seamless, and at other times it was just like, okay, that looks like it came out of Resident Evil on the PS1.
Dude, that's
You
bad.
know, it was it
Ooh, that's
was
bad.
some of the CGI was just like eye-bleedingly bad in that movie, and I'm just talking about the special effects. So there were other issues with that film and other things that I really did like about it. One of the characters, the brother of the main character, I thought he was probably the best character in the movie. To be honest with you, he was great, uh, kind of thing. But that was Prey. That's a whole other story. Hellraiser managed to keep the CGI and the practical virtually seamless. I was very impressed. I mean, there were a few little glitches here, like if any of you have watched the actually, Josh, I would watch the first two first, um, because those are really one story. Um, so I'd watch Hellraiser and Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, back to back because it's like it's one story arc. They get a little off in the weeds, and the third one's kind of a piece of shit, but it's a lot of fun. The fourth one gets into the history of the box, which only loosely ties into the original movies, and then they just go nuts with some crazy shit in the following movies after that.
Yeah, like
Um,
Friday the 13th. It was Jason X
yeah,
anybody?
so I would, yeah. Funny story. The one where Pinhead goes to space is actually one of the better ones, but you know, um, but yeah, I'd watch those two first before you watch this one because, well, I mean, I guess you could watch this one first because they said it was a reboot, but it's a totally new story, new characters, new everything. In fact, there are some callbacks to the original that you'll miss if you haven't seen them, but otherwise, yeah. Aside from Pinhead and the Chatterer, all the Cenobites were new. Um, and even the Chatterer, like he looks different in every movie, but um, and they didn't have Kirsty, Larry, Frank, any of the major players from the first couple movies. None of them were in it. There was no like There is the big spooky house, but it's a totally different setup,
Mhm.
and all that. So yeah, it could go either way on that. I don't really know. Whichever you prefer, but I would personally, I would watch the Hellraiser and Hellbound first, and then I would watch the new Hellraiser.
Well, I'll say this about the Chatterer. I don't care if it's the new version or the old version. That character has the cleanest, shiniest teeth I have ever seen.
I thought they kind of like grimed him up a little bit in this one.
Still, they were silky white.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
was just like, man, this dude. You would think with all that chatter, you would think his teeth would have broken into pieces by now. But oh,
Yeah, well, I
he
mean,
had a damn good dentist.
yeah, no, they did some cool stuff with that. There were a few things, maybe minor spoilers here, but I don't think it'll spoil any of the story. Um, the So there's a bit where two characters, they go to break into a thing that has a safe in it, that has a box in it, that has the box in it, and so they're in the thing with with the safe, and like how do you defeat a safe like that? Well, you knock the lock off with a sledgehammer. So the dude, who is twice the girl's size, is sitting there with a flask saying, if I couldn't do it, you couldn't do it. And he's right about that. And she goes, well, there's a trick to everything, and then just knocks the thing off. I had a bit of an issue with that.
He softened it up.
Yeah, it's not like a pickle jar situation. you know, because that's in reality. If he physically could not do something like that, neither could she. You know, it just doesn't work like that. And there were a handful of other things. I will say there's a gay couple in it, but their gayness is not the focus of anything. It's not even really the focus of their characters. It's stated that they're gay. It's obvious that they're gay, and then they go on to be fairly fleshed out characters. Particularly the guy who plays Matt, who is the brother of our main character Riley. Uh, he was really good as the concerned brother.
Yeah, he was.
And then the other thing I will say is that while I think that there was nothing subtle about the theme they had going on, which was about addiction and breaking the cycle, but I think it worked really well for this movie. It wasn't subtle or anything like that. It was pretty on the nose, but it was. I think it worked pretty well overall. And man, the way they wove in some of the original score, it's that was subtle and that was masterfully done, I think. So I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on it?
For me, character development is important. I mean, I love a good action movie. I love a good horror movie. Just like that in general. But no matter what type of movie you're watching, you've got to, if you don't have at least decent character development, you've got to have something. Otherwise the movie's still not going to work because you got to have chemistry and yada yada yada. Just all the relationship type of stuff. And what I appreciated was the fact it was how much character development they were able to cram into these characters and how fast it went from its beginning to its completion.
Well, see, it feels like a shorter movie than it is. It's actually over 2 hours.
It didn't seem that way to me.
Yeah,
I
but
looked up
yeah,
the movie was over. I was like, wait a minute, what?
yeah, the runtime's over 2 hours. I mean, but yeah, it's right in there. But it feels like an hour and a half movie.
Yeah,
Just
it felt like about an hour and 20 minutes for me. I mean, that's crazy it was that long.
yeah,
That's when you know it's a good movie.
yeah, absolutely. Because you're engaged in, it, and when it's over, you're like, wait, that was it.
Yeah.
But in a good way, not like a. I don't know. I'm struggling to think. I'm sure I could think of a movie that just ends abruptly for no fucking reason.
The Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, that one was dumb. You know what else did it really well though? In terms of abrupt ending, was An American Werewolf in London.
I don't remember the end. Didn't he just get shot and that
Yeah,
was
he
it?
just gets shot. She cries a little bit, and then they roll credits and play Blue Moon. It just goes straight into the bow, 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 bow.
And that makes no sense because he's supposed to be, unless they've got silver bullets, he should have stopped. He should have sat right back up.
No, the whole silver thing. Hollywood kind of took that and ran with it after the Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr., which is a great movie, by the way. But a hell of a lot better than that piece of shit remake a couple years back. But that's really a Hollywood thing. The silver thing really in folklore applies to the undead, specifically vampires and demons and ghouls and that sort of thing. Werewolves are just as mortal as everybody else. They can be hurt. Just there are stories about like a hunter traps one and it gnaws off its own paw to get away. And the next day, a woman in the village is missing a hand. Kind of thing, So I mean, in terms of like old school lore, it works.
Yeah, I haven't seen Cloverfield 7. I never watched it. I heard it was good.
I have seen all of those movies. I like all of them, but they are not all great. The Cloverfield paradox was a little too up its own ass, but it had some interesting ideas in it and some fun scenes that I really liked a lot. The first Cloverfield, aside from the found footage thing, which I find kind of nauseating, too much shaky cam, was pretty cool. I enjoyed that for the most part, given that it was a J.J. Abrams film. The middle one, if you left off that whole ending sequence where it gets like batshit crazy, it would be an excellent little psychological thriller. It was called 10 Cloverfield Lane, and it had Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it and John Goodman, and I forget the name of the other actor who was in it, but and they're all in a bunker built to survive like nuclear war or whatever. And John Goodman plays the guy who built the bunker. The other guy was a contractor who was down there at the time that he sealed him in. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead is a girl who wakes up after, accidents happen and she finds herself in the bunker with these two men. And John Goodman is terrifying in that movie. So I actually really like that one a lot. The ending goes a little like wild and out in left field, but I would definitely recommend that one. And the first one I thought was really cool. It had a pretty good ending as well. Tragic, but overall pretty good movie. The third one was weird. And I think that's on Netflix only too.
Yeah. What is the name of that? What was that movie where it was just a simple camera setup, and it was in an apartment? It was this couple, and one of them they got there was the place was haunted or something like that, and one of them got possessed. What was the name of that movie? And it was more than one of those too.
I don't know off the top of my head. I may not have seen that. I did not know they were making a direct sequel to Cloverfield. I thought they were pretty much done with that franchise after the last one bombed. But yeah, I don't know. I think those are pretty much our non-spoilery thoughts for Hellraiser. I think I did a pretty good job keeping my mouth shut for the most part.
You did. It's funny. I when you started in, I was like, oh no, he's gonna.
Yeah, it was a near thing. It was. I had to bite my tongue a little bit. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I would give you. I mean, the first movie's a kaiju film. Straight up. I mean, Abrams is on record as saying, I really wanted to make a Godzilla film and they wouldn't let me, so this is what I did instead. And the second one is a tight little psychological thriller that has a crazy ass ending that doesn't really track with the tone of the rest of the movie. Almost like it was tacked on at the last second, like they had a different script and then they were like, oh, let's just make this a Cloverfield thing, and they added that last minute. And then the third one is definitely science fiction. Right. It involves parallel worlds and shit like that. So
You know what? I just remember Paranormal Activity.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch any of those, man. That
Okay.
just looked like, who wants to watch somebody's security camera footage
Yeah.
like for
Well,
2 hours? That seems boring.
I got a story. I got a story for that. I got a story for that for you and for everybody in the chat. So before my wife and I moved to where we are now, we had an apartment, and I kid you not, Sam. Every day there was an accident right in front of our apartment building. I don't know that the power was always an issue. You know, when you least suspected, the power would go out. It was just crazy. But I kid you not, it's somewhere between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. We'd be sitting in the living room, you know, just eating whatnot, and that's when, you know, we go outside, cars, you know, laid up on top of the sidewalk. I mean, I'm not talking about just simple fender benders. I mean, cars. I mean, cars were getting destroyed.
So like
on
the
the
end of
street.
American Werewolf in London, then.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I'm like, the hell
Piccadilly
is
Circus
going
is
on
just
in this
like an
place?
18-car pileup.
Yeah, man. I was like, what the hell's going on in this place? And I told my wife, I said, something's something's wrong with this place. Something's wrong with this apartment complex because every time we look up, there's a freaking accident of all the places directly in front of our apartment building. So I'm coming out one night, and some of the one of my neighbors is outside with his friend, and I'm coming down the stairs, and he goes, "Hey, so he goes, hey, how do you like it here so far?" I'm like, "Well, it's I mean, apartments is cool, you know." And it was like, "You notice anything different?" And I was just like, "Well, besides the power going off when you least suspected." But I said, "But other than that, I said, all these freaking car accidents that are going on in front of our apartment." And I was like, I said, "For the life of me, I don't understand why." It's like people can't drive. I'm like, "Dang, dude, I can't park my car house." I'm like, "Thank God I got a parking space of my own," you
Hello.
know. So I'm just like, "What the hell's going on?" And he goes, they film Paranormal Activity here, right?" I said, "What?" He said, "Listen." He said, "I don't know if the manager told you this." And he said, "The apartment directly underneath you is the apartment where they filmed the movie." And he said, "If you go downstairs in the boiler room in the basement, all the props that they left are in there." We go in there, they got upside down crosses, pentagrams, a whole bunch of demonic stuff sitting in there. And he's like, "Yeah, directly under your apartment is where they filmed the entire movie." I thought he was lying. He wasn't lying because we looked into it.
It's like a poltergeist built your house over an Indian burial ground kind of
Something,
situation.
man. I was like, "What the?" But you know what? Where I lived, I mean, that city was crazy anyway, man. The richest high school, the richest high school in that city had an uncanny knack of people graduating. If they made it through without getting hooked on drugs, within a couple of years of graduating, they all came down with cancer. These idiots, in their infinite wisdom, built this school for rich kids on top of a local toxic waste dump. The whole school was radioactive.
Oh, that's
What do they do when they find out it's radioactive? They keep it open and start letting other kids into the school. So
yeah,
now
that
you got
tracks.
kids graduating left and right, and some of them aren't making it past their 20s because they're dying of cancer. And the school's
Yeah,
still open today.
that reminds me of a so my dad signed on with Burlington Northern Railroad in 1978,
Mm.
and a lot of the guys who signed on with him eventually got sent out to this town in South Dakota, which is right next to a uranium mine.
Mm.
Every one of the guys that he signed on with who went out there is dead.
What?
Every one of them.
Okay, that is creepy.
Well, I mean, the uranium takes everything in that town. The cancer rate over there is extraordinarily high. You know,
Hello,
It is what
Alexia.
it is.
Yeah,
So
I guess. Well, I thought we escaped all that stuff, and now I live where I am now, and come to find out that this town has a whole bunch of haunted buildings and stuff. I mean, we're trying. I get over here, my wife's telling me about this because she grew up where we're at, and she's like, "Yeah, the Capitol building for the city." I said, "Yeah." She's like, "It's haunted." I said, "No, it's not." She was like, she's looking at her watch. She said, "It's almost dark outside." She was like, Let's go out prove it. We go drive it down. We go drive it through downtown, and sure enough, the lights in that place start cutting on and off by itself. And I was just like, why is anybody doing anything about this? She was like, we're used to it, you know?
you know, the movie The Shining. It's
Yeah.
probably one of the only Stanley Kubrick movies I think is worth a damn. Uh,
But
I
tell me how
just
you really feel about his directing.
I don't like him. I think he's a shit director. That movie is probably the
What
exception.
kind, brown or green?
Baby shit. If you got kids, guys, you'll understand exactly the color I'm talking about. You know?
Yeah, Troy. I like my wife too, and she thought it was real funny when I tripped out. Now I know why she drove because when that building lit up, it wasn't just a small light. That building lit up, and I was just like, "This is the middle of downtown, and this building is turning all its lights on by itself. There's nobody in there."
Yeah. Hey, Josh. Yeah, Christy Nome. Yes. Yes, she knows about it. The whole of South Dakota knows about it. You know, work's still got to be done there. You know, and that uranium goes towards a lot of things, including power plants and weapons. So, it's it's one of those things that we need in the modern age, but the cost of digging it out of the earth is pretty high.
Yeah,
So yeah, she knows. Everybody knows.
Queen. If
Uh,
that if DC's full of haunted places, if you know how to make a proton pack, you can make some good money.
yeah. So The Shining, right, was took place in a place called the Overlook Hotel. Now, it was filmed at a place called the Stanley Hotel, which is in Estes Park, Colorado. I used to live about 30 miles from there. And it is a very spooky place to be. Even in the daylight, it's a little creepy. You know? um, World famous hotel. A lot of people have stayed there. A lot of people have died there too. So, um, that whole thing, that actually the Overlook Hotel in the book that Stephen King wrote, that then Stanley Kubrick made the movie for, um, was based on that hotel and its history. I mean, loosely. Obviously, there are no blowjob bears. But the creepy twins thing, yeah, that you know, it's a weird movie, man. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, Seattle's got some weird, creepy old places too.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It
You
does.
know, there are a lot of strange goings on in some of the areas in this country. I'd imagine in most of the places in the world. I mean, this country, some of these places, like Seattle, for example, has old scary shit, but it's only old from an American's perspective because Seattle's not really that old a city. Whereas if you go to, say, you know, uh, Germany or Rome or London, their cities are old, to a degree that Americans just don't understand. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna make a topic out of that. Hopefully, Queen Lala and the rest of you will come back. I'm gonna look that up because no, there's a YouTube video that I looked up and about scared the hell out of me. I was scared. I was scared. I admit it. I made the mistake of watching that video, boy. And I mean, we were already moving to where we are now. But I looked at my wife when I watched that video, and she was like, "If you change your mind about us moving, you're gonna have more to worry about than what that video showing."
Sure.
She was like, after everything we did put, she was like, no, ain't no going back now, you know. But you know, it's what it is, man. I mean, I told you about that cemetery when I was that reserve unit that I used to serve in. It was a cemetery that had this fog, this thick fog, would sit on the cemetery every morning, and it would dissipate at 7:30 in the morning. So we would show up for drill. We would show up for drill, and you couldn't even see you couldn't see the headstones. You couldn't see nothing. It was just this thick fog, and it wouldn't go past the gates. It would just sit squarely on the cemetery, like perfectly inside the cemetery, and it's and it would go right up to the gate and just stop right at the gate. I mean, and I was like, where's all this fog coming from? But it would just sit right there. It still does it. I mean, I was at that particular location. I was there for, almost 10 years. And that fog, we'd pull in the drill, and that fog would just be sitting there. And, it hit 7:30, boom, it's gone. Every morning.
No, fair enough. Right here before we move on to the next bit, I think we're gonna get started with some horror trivia here in a minute. But
yeah, well, that is the next bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna reiterate that for those of you who are from the Linus's channel, she is currently suspended and will be until next week. They also took down the last live stream without warning. As far as I know, they haven't given a reason. She hasn't given me one anyway. But hopefully we'll be back up and running over there next week. How does that go? You guys have all seen The Ring, right?
I've seen it.
7 days. That's more of a column for you with it.
You sound like Gollum.
All right, I'm done.
That was Meister Chow. You know that was.
Yeah, he's you know what? Meister Chow is a much better impressionist than I am, but I can do Gollum voice. Like,
I don't know, Master Frodo. This Gollum guy, he seems a little bit off his walker. He's talking about okay, it's always my place is that. What a douche.
That's Hillary Clinton right there laughing. That's my Hillary Clinton.
So, I was referring specifically to the American remake, where they actually say 7 days in English. But I actually like both versions of that movie quite a bit. Yeah, what's funny? Jaws made my mother not sit on a toilet bowl for a week. And she's not the only one. That whole fucking generation was terrified of any kind of standing water.
Well, I read a news article last week that said that depending on where you live, the old myth of rats crawling out of toilets and biting people, that it's actually true, that it actually does happen in certain states are right now are having problems with that, where people are reporting that rats are crawling out of their toilets. Because rats can chew through steel. So they're going right into the pipes, right into the toilet bowl.
Oh yeah, they sure can. Out. They also can hold their breath for a fairly long time and swim, which is generally how they get through those S pipes and stuff, the traps.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean like mouse traps or rat traps. I mean like the traps under a toilet bowl where it, traps the air, that kind of thing.
Well, I'm prepared. I'm prepared. That's why my cat's litter box is in the bathroom.
Huh. What was it originally supposed to be a comedy? I can't say as I've heard that.
Really?
I'm gonna check into that because favorite movie, great fucking movie, probably the best adventure movie ever made, and the inception of the blockbuster film, which we're now witnessing the death of.
Yeah. Unfortunately. All right. Are you guys ready? Hey, were you gonna post it so everybody can see?
I can do that. Give me just a second. We're doing the 50 horror movie multiple choice first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No cheating, guys, please.
All right. Yeah. So everybody's going to play along. We're going to ask the questions, post your answers in the chat, and then we'll find out what the answers are together. And yeah, please, no cheating, guys. No looking shit up. Just answer to the best of your knowledge. So
Yeah, and I'm also playing on my computer off to the side, but I'm gonna go as everybody else does.
all right. So first question is these are multiple choice. So a horror film is a film that seeks to elicit blank for entertainment purposes. Choices are pain, fear, fun, thinking. I'm gonna go with fear.
Yeah, 7 and the Queen. Yep. Hey, fear. Let's see what it does.
Correct. All right. Who among the following was not the initial inspiration of a horror movie by literature from authors like Mary Shelley, Edgar Allan Poe, Bram Stoker, Frank Darabont?
Oh,
I know the answer to that.
I think I know the answer to that too. Let's wait for the chat because I know there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, I really need some Jeopardy music.
7 says Bram. Anybody else? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a 20-second timer. Let's see. 20-second stopwatch, excuse me. So we've got got one each.
Yep. So are we ready, guys? I'm gonna go with Frank Darabont on account of he is a modern director. The other three were classical authors. See, the question was not the initial inspiration by literature. So Mary Shelley obviously wrote Frankenstein. Edgar Allan Poe wrote a bunch of stuff. Bram Stoker wrote a bunch of stuff, but he's most famous for Dracula. Frank Darabont has done a bunch of good movies, but the one that really stands out is The Mist.
He wrote The Mist?
No, he directed it. He was the one who came up with that brutal ass ending.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think I gave the wrong name when we were talking about it last time. I think I said Jandabont, which is not correct at all, but it was Frank Darabont. So, all right. The horror has...
Wait, before you do that, because Alexia is saying that they don't remember any of Poe's poems becoming films, but I could have sworn they did, or
some of his stories did. I believe there was a black and white film version of the Telltale Heart.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was also The Pit and the Pendulum. The Fall of the House of Usher has been a movie at least twice. So not his poems, but his some of his stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank is he's very much alive. Everybody else on here has been dead for over 100 years. So, yeah, something like that. And actually, yeah, Mary Shelley has been dead for significantly longer than the other two. So. All right. Okay. Well, we're already answering the next question. Horror has existed as a film genre for more than one century.
You jumped ahead.
Oh, everybody did. You see this shit? Everybody's going for it, and that's fine. We're good with that. I'm gonna go with a single century. And that would be correct. The reason I went with that was because one of the first horror movies ever made was an off-license version of Dracula called Nosferatu, starring a guy named Max Schreck as Count Orlok. All of those were supposed to be destroyed. They weren't, obviously, because we have it available today. But that was about 100 years ago.
Yeah,
and it was a silent.
I suggest if we're gonna go into a monologue, don't scroll down to the next question because everybody's jumping ahead. because I see.
Well, every time we click on one of the answers on this, it jumps to the next question.
Yeah, I just move it back up.
So
You can scroll.
right.
You can scroll it back up to the previous question.
No, fair enough. All right, so I guess we're already on. What of the following horror film doesn't often aim to evoke viewers? All right, some of these are worded weird.
Worded weirdly, yeah.
Yeah. Nightmares, terror, tickle, or revulsion. That's a gimme, guys.
That's definitely a gimme.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I suppose that depends on what you find horrifying. No.
I'll read the next one. The Haunted Castle or The House of the Devil was a film released in.
I think you skipped one, dude.
Did I? Oh, sure did. I'm sorry, guys. What is considered as the first horror film?
Dun, 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 dun. It depends who's tickling me. Yeah. So options are Army of Darkness, La Manoir du Diable, The Blood on Satan's Claw, The Evil Dead. Well, unfortunately, Troll, that's not one of the answers. I have no idea myself. I mean, I know which ones it's not, but that still leaves a couple of other options. So I don't know, man. What do you think?
Just pick one.
All right, we'll pick one. Everybody seems to be going for Diablo here, so that is in fact correct. Good job, guys. Yeah. I've never even heard of that movie.
Me neither.
No. All right. So here we go. Next question.
Now I can say it right. The Haunted Castle or The House of the Devil was a film released in what year?
1876, 1996, 1896, 1996. I'm gonna guess because I don't know.
I got the timer running, so you got about 13 seconds. See what everybody, and then we'll check with the chat. Let's see what they say. Seven says 1996. He probably looked. You guys looked it up. It says 20 seconds. Okay, Kohai is saying 1996 since it's out there twice. Huh.
It is up there twice, huh? Hadn't noticed
he's
that.
got a point.
Good catch.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll go with one of those then, because I'm going to trust the audience here. Incorrect. It was 1896, apparently. Well, I haven't seen that one either, so I didn't really know.
That's crazy. All right, next one. Hannibal. Hannibal is an American psychological horror thriller television series developed by who? I think I know the answer to this one.
Shit, Maester Chow would know. He actually watched it.
You got the 20 seconds going. You got about 10 seconds.
All right, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably go with 7-1's pretty on the ball there. Kohai's in agreement. Alexia. Yeah, let's go with John Dahl. It was Ridley Scott. Weird. Huh.
And that was my first choice too. I was like, it's gotta be Ridley Scott.
Hey, man, I believe you. I'm so am I. I just went with you because I was like, he's been right more than he's been wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well, this next one we should be able to catch. I think a lot of people would know the classic horror film The Exorcist was released in.
I mean, I'm not even gonna look at the chat for this one. Love you guys, but I think I got this in the bag.
Well, let's not exclude them.
No. They're more than happy to give their answers. I just I'm not going to be cheating off of their answers this time, like last time. That was on me.
Burnaby at 7 says 75. Any other takers? 73. Thanks to the Queen. Alexa says 1975.
I think it was 1973.
I think it was too.
Did you say that after you saw the correct thing?
No. Because I'm thinking about how old the movie is. Because I've seen it. So I'm like,
Yeah, I've seen that movie a couple of
it's
different
got to
times.
be around 73.
No, it was right after, right at that period where the 60s, the lightheartedness of 60s films started getting into the really gritty, dark shit that the 70s was known for.
Oh, here's a good one. The next one. A Phoenix secretary embezzles $40,000 from her employer's client,
I know the
goes
answer.
on the run, and checks into a remote hotel run by a young man under the domination of his mother in the classic 1960 horror film.
I know the answer. Do.
Anybody in the chat want to take a guess? 7 says The Shining. Alex says Psycho. Anyone else? Okay, well, Bates Motel, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not wrong. Controversial scene of the bathroom.
Yep. All right, we're gonna go ahead and call this one. It was indeed Psycho. Part of the reason that I know this is because I watched this movie recently because it's very good. Also, Halloween came out in like 1978. Nightmare on Elm Street was 1984, and The Shining, I forget exactly which year, but it was in the 70s.
All right. Here's the next one. Next one for you guys. Here's a quote. I swear, officer, William Shatner tried to kill me is a dialogue from the film. I definitely know the answer to this one.
That's funny, too, because the answer to the last question is in this one.
Yep. I bet Queen Lala knows the answer because this person was probably in D.C. when they did all the stuff they did. Anybody from the chat? Burnaby says Halloween. 7 says Psycho. Alex says Halloween. Kohai says Halloween.
I think they're right about Halloween, given that Michael Myers wears a William Shatner mask.
Yes.
So that's yep, that is in fact correct.
Yep.
No. I'm pretty sure I would have remembered that dialogue in The Crow. I used to know all of the dialogue in The Crow. I was that kid. Who is the actress of the horror film Under the Skin 2013? Mia Farrow, Naomi Watts, Melissa George, or Scarlett Johansson?
2013?
Yep.
Okay. But I've never seen this movie. Based off of the time, I'm going to say Scarlett. Let's see what the chat says. Naomi Watts. 7 says Naomi. Alex says Mia. Anyone else? Queen says Scarlett.
Yep. Well, you guys who said Scarlett were indeed correct. I did not guess on that one because I actually have seen it.
Okay.
Newlyweds are terrorized by demonic forces after moving into a large house that was the site of a grisly mass murder a year before is the plot of the horror film. I think this one should be pretty obvious too.
Well, there's 2 on here that could be the answer. I've not seen any of these movies, but based off the premise of 2 of them, I'm going to say the Amityville Horror. I'm just guessing.
Beetlejuice. Close enough.
It is close enough. Shoot. Alex says Amity. Anyone else?
Yeah, 7-1's got Amityville. I think y'all are correct. That is indeed correct. Man, this thing scrolls fast. No. All right. After kidnapping and brutally assaulting 2 young women, a gang unknowingly finds refuge at a vacation home belonging to the parents of one of the victims. A mother and father who devise an increasingly gruesome series of revenge tactics is the plot of the horror film, and I fucking hate this movie. Your options are Alien, Ghost of Goodnight Lane, Apocalypse Now, or The Last House on the Left.
Okay, well, I don't believe it's Apocalypse Now. That's all, and I don't believe it's Alien.
Well, Apocalypse Now is a war movie, so
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely not, and it's definitely not Alien either. And since I've never seen The Last House on the Left or Ghost of Goodnight Lane, I have no clue.
I think the verdict here is in. Actually, I've never heard of Ghost of Goodnight Lane. I think the verdict is in though. It's The Last House on the Left, which is okay. I wish I hadn't seen that. There are some things, guys, that bother me. You know, like I will watch Hellraiser all day, but watching like horrible people do horrible shit to each other, like that shit happens in real life, all the time. You know, I've seen some of it with my own eyes. It's not entertainment to me. It just makes me fucking sick to my stomach.
I hear that. I'll get this one. A wealthy San Francisco socialite pursues a potential boyfriend to a small Northern California town that slowly takes a turn for the bizarre when birds of all kinds suddenly begin to attack people. Is the plot of the horror film, and all the choices are blank.
Yeah, I mean, I know the answer, but I don't know which one is the answer. I can't see anything but blankness on this, so there might be a bit of a glitch there.
Yeah, we're definitely guessing in the dark on this one. We don't even know what the answer is. So.
Yeah. All right. So 1, 2, 3, or 4, guys.
Don't click 4. 4 is definitely wrong.
4 is
I mean, I know
wrong.
I know the answer. I know the answer. I just don't know which.
Yeah. They're not Queen. They're not showing us. We can't see anything either. We just see what you guys see. So, all right. I'll go with 2. That was incorrect, and it doesn't.
So the answer
is the birds.
Is the birds. Is definitely the birds.
Yeah, another Hitchcock classic.
3 young men. That's my voice. 3 young men become terrorized in a high-speed car chase with a mysterious pursuant. Is the plot of the horror film? Okay, it's not Storm of the Century.
It's not In the Mouth of Madness, and it's not The Conjuring. That leaves one answer.
You just told everybody, man.
Well, I assume everybody's seen The Conjuring, and you guys have all heard me talk about the In the Mouth of Madness for the last 3 freaking live streams.
Hopefully that's the only freebie you guys get. Good grief.
Yeah.
7 says thanks.
Yeah. That's too funny. And you know what's even funnier about this is Black Cadillac's the only one on this list I haven't seen.
Yeah, I've only seen Storm of the Century, so which is a very good movie, by the way. The ending will piss you off, but you know, towards the ending. Anyway, horror film Frankenstein was released in
1911, 1921, 1927, and 1931.
I'm gonna say 1931. And that's guessing.
We got a 4 from
Lala's
Queen.
with me.
We got 1927 from 7 Wand.
Anybody else?
Lexia says 1927.
27. Is there anyone else?
I think, yeah. I don't see any other forthcoming answers, so we're going to go ahead. I think it was 1931 as well, and the reason that I think that is because while there were talkies in 1927, they weren't that common, and this movie does have audio. You were right, Larry.
Yay.
All right. Who was the director of the 1931 classic horror movie M? Wes Craven, Fritz Lang, Eli Roth, Kiyoshi Kurosawa.
Okay. Oh, well, Eli Roth, and well, I know Eli Roth wasn't alive at that time. I'm gonna go with Fritz Lang.
All right, 7-1 goes with Wes Craven. Alexia went with Eli. I think
Alex chose
Alexia.
Alexia. I just saying Alex. I just saying Alex for short. Kohai says Fritz.
I think Kohai is correct, given the time frame. It just skips all over the place. Kiyoshi Kurosawa is one of the guys who does like a lot of the creepy Japanese movies that have come out in the last 20 years or so. Eli Roth did some really, really shitty movies.
So was Fritz.
That sort of thing. Yeah, and Wes Craven is dead, but only recently.
Yeah, he died in like what 2011, like just before Scream 4 came out, or just after.
He got his career started with the original The Last House on the Left in the 1970s. So,
an insurance investigator begins discovering that the impact a horror writer's books have on his fans is more than inspirational, is the plot of the horror film.
In the Mouth of Madness, Pulse, The Conjuring, The Witches.
I haven't seen any of these movies.
Queen, I don't actually. If you're talking the original Frankenstein, I don't know who the original director of that was. You probably look it up. That's not something that I have on the tip of my tongue right at this moment.
I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon and go with The Witches.
All right. Well, looks like anybody else want to guess? It does kind of sound like a Stephen King book, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason for that. The answer is In the Mouth of Madness. It is very much there's a character named Sutter Kane who's very much like Stephen King, and a lot of Stephen King's work is very heavily inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. And this movie was one of John Carpenter's homages to Lovecraft. It doesn't just have an effect on his fans; it starts to have an effect on reality. Oh, good movie. Highly recommend. No, it wasn't set in Maine. Weirdly, Connecticut, I think, actually. Horror movie The House of the Devil was released in 2005, 2009, 2011, 2014. I got no idea, guys.
I have to ask Burnaby because I don't know.
Anybody in the chat seen that one? No.
Alex and Kohai are saying 2009. Seven says 2009.
All right, it's looking.
Queen Lala is saying 2009.
Yep. 7-1 is the bandwagon. So here we go. That is correct. Good job, guys. I was just winging it on that one. I don't know. I haven't seen that one. All right. What is the name of the woman in 2011 film The Others? Lives in her Jesus. This is worded like really poorly, man. Lives in her darkened old family house with her 2 photosensitive children. Becomes convinced that the home is haunted. I didn't see that one. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
That sounds like a
I saw the movie a long time ago. It's with Nicole Kidman. I want to say
7-1 says Jessica.
Great. I want to say Grace, given the time period, because she and her kids were dead for a long time.
Yeah, sorry, Alexia. I didn't I didn't get the humor. My apologies. And that is pretty funny. Most of his stuff is set in Maine.
I said that last week. I said, did you notice how that fool got something going on in Maine? He loves Maine.
My ex-wife is a big fan of Stephen King, and I've read more Stephen King being married to her than I did my entire life. And you're right, it's almost all in Maine.
Yeah.
Except The Stand, which is everywhere but Maine.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got 2 guesses here in the chat. I don't know. Maybe 7-1's not joking. He is.
We've got 3. One for Jessica, 2 for Grace. I already said Grace.
All right. I'm gonna go with Grace. That seems to be the.
Grace, that's what my wife said.
Well, your wife was correct, Bernie. That was, as it turns out. So sometimes it's the best thing to do. Okay. I don't believe we have a call your friend option here.
Hey, she's a proper cheat code. We didn't say that.
Right. Yeah. No. It's okay. I'm just fucking around.
So paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to keep a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse in this plot of the horror film. I'm going to say The Conjuring.
We have God Told Me To from Alexia. 7-1 says Candyman.
Alexia, did God tell you to give that answer?
I've only seen one of these, and one of them I've never even heard of.
Queen says When a Stranger Calls.
All right. Well, I will guess the one that nobody else has then. And it would be The Conjuring.
I guess The Conjuring.
Right, but I wasn't counting you. You're not in chat.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I
thought I mattered.
The horror film Possession was released in 1996, 2005, 2012, and 2014 are your options. I am kind of impressed that they're pulling some shit out that I've never seen and never heard of, and I thought that I had a pretty extensive knowledge of the horror film history.
Wait till you see the next if we have enough time to get to the second one, because the second quiz there is no multiple choice. You just have to know and try to guess it and click on the answer. There's no multiple choice.
Yeah. Well, and this one, we might have to.
We're gonna have to split it because the other one's like 63 questions.
Yeah.
So the second one, guys, we'll do the second one next week. I'm gonna have something for you guys. We're gonna have something for you guys next week. So it's gonna be packed full of good stuff. But yeah, this one, I didn't think this was gonna take this long.
I'm gonna join the pack here and go with 2012. Good guess, guys. I'm assuming at least some of you knew the answer. I don't know the film, so aside from The Exorcist, I don't really watch a lot of films involving possession. As the Barrett family's peaceful suburban life is rocked by an escalating series of disturbing events, they come to learn that a terrifying and deadly force is after them, one which may have arrived from beyond the stars, is the plot of the horror film. Options are Let the Right One In, Dark Skies, The Conjuring, Deep Red.
I'm gonna go with Dark Skies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can eliminate The Conjuring because the plot was just given to us like 2
Yeah.
questions ago. Yeah, everybody seems to be thinking about Dark Skies, and it fits with what the synopsis here has said, and it is correct. Yeah. By the way, have you seen Let the Right One In?
No.
It's one of the creepiest damn vampire movies I've ever seen. Let Me In is the American version of it. Let the Right One In. I think it's a Swedish film.
Mm-hmm.
It's super creepy. Who is the fictional character and the protagonist sent to Sleepy Hollow to investigate the
Oh, you have to
decapitations of
know this one.
3 people in a 2001 film, Sleepy Hollow? Ichabod Crane, Katrina Van Tassel, Brom Van Brunt, or Mr. Toad? Why the fuck is Mr. Toad?
It's Mr. Toad.
I just hit myself on the head with the mic, guys. Yeah. I think y'all are right. I know you're all right. Johnny Depp played him. I'm on this panel with like Johnny Depp's biggest fan over here.
It's hey, look, I'm just glad after everything that man went through. So
I'm not saying he's not a good actor. I just, I also wouldn't call
point.
Sleepy Hollow a horror movie, but
No.
Carrie and me were
Well, I enjoyed that movie though, but no, it's not a horror movie, but it is a good one.
Shit. That reminds me, I forgot to let Carrie know we were doing this tonight. He just sent me an email like pissed that I didn't let him know about last night, even though that was like a 5 minutes before I went on kind of decision.
I mean, where he was, there was no reception though. So, let me get this next one. A series of events test the beliefs of a small, isolated countryside village in the horror film.
I think everybody's right. They're all saying.
I'm going to say The Village.
Yep. That is correct.
You know what? You know I'm about to go on an M. Night Shyamalan tirade. That movie made me so mad. And it wasn't because the movie sucked, because it didn't suck. It was the fact that Shyamalan tricked me and who knows how many people into thinking that it was something that it wasn't.
Yeah. See, I thought it was great. I really liked The Village. I thought it was a good movie.
It was an outstanding movie, but Homeboy needs to stop lying about what his movies are about when he's advertising.
That's his whole shtick. He thinks he's the new Hitchcock.
Somebody needs to tell him he's not. He's not Hitchcock. He's just a CO. I'm not even gonna say it. On to the next one. What is the protagonist of the 1979 science fiction horror film Alien?
None of these answers make sense.
None of these answers make sense.
So
I know what the answer is.
Yeah, but it still doesn't make sense.
Who wrote this?
I don't know. Where did you find this shit at, man?
Online, dude. Trivia questions quiz.
Right. No, I know. I was just giving you shit. But yeah, though the answers don't make any sense here.
But I'm willing to bet. I'm about to click on something. I'm willing to bet it's the right. Whoa! It wasn't the right one. Okay.
Yeah. It's no worries, man. We will stick with it because
all right, chat.
I'm nothing if not persistent. Everybody's going like, I don't know. Ridley Scott was the director.
Yeah.
The Nostromo I'm going to go with because that was the name of the ship they were on. Brian Bertino and Biling weren't in the movie.
Yeah.
And that was apparently the answer.
That was the answer.
The Nostromo wasn't the protagonist. The protagonist was Ripley.
Yeah. It was a stupid ship.
Yeah.
All right. A young couple staying in an isolated vacation home are terrorized by 3 unknown assailants. There's a plot to the horror film. I'm willing. I haven't even seen the movie, but I know the plot.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to answer. I'll let everybody else. I'll leave that to the chat. Casper. The answer is juice.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we got a couple of The Strangers. I think that was correct as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. All right. The Cannibal Holocaust is a film released in 1980, 1985, 1990, 1995. You'd think I would know the answer to this one. I
I've
watched a lot
never,
of really
I've never
bad
even heard
movies.
of, I've never even heard of this movie.
Yeah, it's it's post-apocalyptic stuff. I think. I don't know. I might be thinking of a different movie. If I had to guess, I'd say probably 1985. 7-1 says 1990.
Alexia says 85. 7 says 90.
Yeah, it sounds like it's right in that, like in between those 2 years kind of movie. Like something that was on Showtime back when back in the day when they were still fun.
Yeah.
you know.
um,
Let's go with we got 190 and 185 and one. I think I found a movie to watch. Hell yeah. I'm gonna guess 90. I think it's 85, but I'm gonna guess 90. It was neither of them. It was 1980. Damn.
yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah,
I
no
wouldn't
idea.
have guessed that. But then again, it should have made sense to me because I've never heard of it. It's definitely got the title's definitely an 80s style,
Right.
name.
Well, I mean, technically, it's in the 80s. A woman who's been in a car accident walks back to an abandoned carnival pavilion. Later, she's drawn back to its eerie music and ghostly images in the horror film. I'm not going to give this away. I do know what the answer is.
I think everybody else will too once they look.
Yeah.
Look.
Dude, I don't know why, but every time I have like a minute to, not say anything, I'll sometimes start humming the part of the theme song to Goof Troop. I don't really know why. It's just something I've been doing for about 30 years. All right, we got 4 Carnival of Souls audition. Well, I mean, like I said, I do know what the answer is, but because I have a copy. So, all right, we will go with Carnival of Souls is the answer. Good movie, by the way. Creepy.
The next one,
slow burn.
yeah. The next one is a gimme. A quiet high school loner does what every quiet high school loner dreams of doing. She unleashes total hell on her abusive classmates at senior prom in the film. That's a gimme.
Yep. I think everybody's got it. It is, in fact, Carrie. The fact that they put Sissy Spacek's name in there.
That did it. I mean, but
Yeah.
even the description will tell you. Okay, after kidnapping and brutally assaulting 2 young women, a gang unknowingly
asked this
finds
question already.
refuge. Huh?
They asked this question already. They said they gave this, and then they said, "Is the plot of the horror film?" This was early on in the trivia.
So they doubled it up.
Yeah, this is Last House on the Left.
Yeah, you're right. The Night of the Hunter is a story of a preacher serial killer who has hate and love tattooed on his hands. This film was released in.
Well,
and one answer's on there twice.
Yep.
Somebody had to. Whoever did this had to.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a little loopy, isn't it?
I'm gonna go with 1955.
Yeah.
It's like somebody really seems to want us to pick that.
Seems like that seems to be the consensus there with Queen Law. It's like it's number 3. Can't possibly be number 2. All right, we'll go with that. As it turns out, it was number 2, but not number 3.
That's weird.
That is so dumb.
That's dumb, dude. It's the same question. All right. On to the next one. A journalist must investigate a mysterious videotape which seems to cause the death of anyone 1 week to the day after they view it in the film. Something tells me that somebody gave the answer to that before we even started earlier in the stream.
Maybe.
Somebody said the Omen. Alexia said the Omen.
Yeah, she was joking. Yep, you guys are correct. It is The Ring. I hate that this jumps so far ahead.
Next one. A man who specializes in debunking paranormal occurrences checks into the fabled room 1408
Oh,
in
Jesus,
the
really?
Dolphin Hotel. Soon after settling in, he confronts genuine horror, which is the plot of the horror film. I wonder which one it is.
The name's in the question. That's yeah. All right, moving on.
A television reporter and cameraman follow emergency workers into a dark apartment building and are quickly locked inside with something terrifying in the film. I'm going to go with Wreck. Because I've seen The Exorcist.
Right?
I've seen bits and pieces of Poltergeist and Shining, so that only leaves Wreck.
You only seen bits and pieces of Poltergeist and The Shining?
Yep.
Huh.
Believe it or not,
that seems
Shining,
to be a consensus too.
Yeah. The Shining legitimately scared me as a kid. So I was like, nope, I'm not.
Oh, sure.
I'm not.
You should. Why were you watching that? There's a blowjob bear. You were a kid.
Well,
and that's not even the worst thing in that movie.
No. Well, I didn't get, just a little bit that I saw. I was like, no, I'm good.
Okay.
An American tourist looking for help instead of finding a German surgeon who, yes, definitely gives off Nazi vibes and has plans for them far worse than death in the film.
That wasn't Gothica by any chance, was it, Alexia? That you were talking about with Halle Berry, I think.
I'm gonna bandwagon that and go with the Human Centipede.
Well, you'd be right. The only reason I know about that shit is because my one of my sisters is a massive fan of that fucking nightmare of a movie.
I thought you were gonna say she's a Human Centipede.
No, she loves the Human Centipede though. So, she what she's often said is that she really likes the first one. The second one made her feel like she was watching an illegal snuff film, and the third one was just garbage. Plagued by hallucinations and flashbacks, Singer rapidly falls apart as the world and people around him morph and twist into disturbing images. Is the plot of the horror film. Freaks, The Shining, The Others, Jacob's Ladder.
I know which one that is. I'm gonna leave it for the chat because I definitely know which one that is.
Oh, okay, Alexia. I don't know. I don't think if it's found footage kind of thing, I don't think I probably have seen it. I think you're probably correct on that. It's like Kohai went with Jacob's Ladder, Alexia, Jacob's Ladder, 7-1 Freaks. I mean, that's feasible. But I think you're right about Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, Alexia and Kohai.
Correct. All right. Who stars? I'm gonna add a word to the sentence. Who stars in the film? Okay, this was not written by somebody who speaks English.
Yeah, who stars in the film 1973? Wow. Okay, who stars in the 1973 horror film, It's Alive. I mean, good lord.
Chance Boyard, Dana Kimmel, Sharon Farrell, or Catherine Mary Stewart?
I'm gonna go with not Catherine Mary. Oh, I don't know. I've never watched the movie, so
I'm not sure. Might have been. Let's see. There's no Dana only, so that's. Someone says Chance. Queen Lala says Farrell. Hey Bernie, thanks for coming, man. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.
yeah.
So, I gonna go with Catherine Mary Stewart. Let's see. It was Sharon Farrell. Queen Lala takes it.
That's why she's royalty.
Yeah, damn straight. After a powerful storm damages their main home, David Drayton, played by Thomas Jane, and his young son head into a town to gather food and supplies. Is the plot of the horror film. The Shining, Psycho, The Mist, The Exorcist.
Considering the choices, I think the answer is pretty clear.
Yeah, seeing as how they've given the plot to most of these already. And also, we did talk about it, and everybody's seen that one. It is, in fact, The Mist, which has one of the most brutal endings I have ever seen in a horror movie. Unforgiving, that ending. What is the name of the female character in the 2007 film Planet Terror? Wait, the female character or the female actress? Because these are all actress names. I mean, I'm going to
go with 2007 Planet Terror.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rose McGowan.
I know who it is. I know who it is. Okay, I'm not going to say.
You know, all of these women, too, were on Charmed.
Yep. I know who it is, though. I ain't going to say.
I think it was Rose McGowan. She was in a lot of weird shit. And I've never seen Holly Marie Combs in anything but Charmed. So, let's see. Alyssa, not enough to end the suffering. I don't think that's on the list.
Yeah, that's definitely not on the list.
All right. It was Rose McGowan. That was because wasn't that part of that Grindhouse shit that
it was
Robert Rodriguez and
it was. But the thing is, yeah, that's right. Because she played two different characters.
Yeah.
She played two different characters in that whole thing. The next one, the film Black Sheep, is a violent, grotesque, and very funny movie released in.
I mean,
don't know. I didn't watch it.
I saw a movie named Black Sheep that came out in the 90s starring Chris Farley and David Spade. But I'm pretty sure that's not the one they're talking about. We got some 2006s. 2004. I don't know. Let's go with the majority on this.
Yeah, me too.
2006 is correct. Fair enough. A man buys a strange Chinese puzzle box in a shop only to discover that its solution opens a portal to hell in the horror film. I mean...
I think you know the answer to that.
And he wasn't in China. He was in India, but whatever. Yep. That's a gimme for me. Looks like everybody else is on top of that too. Yep. Who is the fictional character and the protagonist of the American Psycho in the 2000 film, a psychotic killer who murders and dismembers both strangers and acquaintances without provocation or purpose. Okay, so the person who wrote these is clearly a native Korean speaker who was translating from the Russian into English without any understanding of either of those languages.
You got that just from looking at the list?
Now, I got that just from looking at this question.
I know the answer to. I think I know.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think everybody's got this one.
And it's a trick question too, because
Yeah,
it's a trick. It's definitely a trick question.
yeah, it is. Well, they tried real hard there.
Well, this is the one time. This must be when they woke up.
Yeah. So. Oh, that's interesting. One of the answers is blank on this next one. A female FBI agent trying to prove herself, Jodie Foster, is gaslit by one imprisoned serial killer, Anthony Hopkins, while trying to capture another, Ted Levine, who cross-dresses and collects women's well-moisturized skin. Is the plot of the horror movie? It's a.
Where's Queen Lala? And where it put the lotion in the basket?
Why would you say that to somebody?
Put the lotion in the basket.
Yep, y'all are dead on this one. It is in fact.
Alexia put lamb.
Yeah, the Silence of the Lambs. That is the answer. We all know that's the answer, right? So just for funsies, I'm going to see what happens if I click blank.
I was like, that was just my favorite part of the movie with the guy put the lotion in the basket.
Or it gets those again. Put the lotion in the fucking basket.
I didn't like that part. I just like how he was just like,
yeah.
Put the lotion in the basket. Put the heavy lotion in the basket.
Give me back my dog, you bitch. This is not the best Buffalo Bill impression, but close enough. That man, he owned that role.
He sure as hell did, dude.
What is the name of the man in the 1978 horror film Halloween? Killed his own sister as a 6-year-old, escapes a sanitarium as an adult, and returns to his hometown for revenge. Y'all are.
And my question is, what is he revenging? If he's killed somebody,
he's revenging being prevented from. Since we all know the answer is Michael Myers. Definitely. What he's revenging is the being locked away and unable to complete what he was doing because he was out to kill his entire family. And he was only able to kill a couple of them. Still had relatives out. The movie answer is Democrats.
Yeah, those pesky sisters and aunts can really upset you.
Yeah.
The movie answer is Democrats.
Yeah, that's pretty good. When 5 college friends arrive at a remote forest cabin for a little vacation in the horror film Psycho, The Others, The Cabin in the Woods, The Exorcist.
I think we know the answer to that.
I mean, to be fair, there are a bunch of movies where this is the exact fucking plot. But given the choices and the fact that one of them tells you in the title. Yeah.
That'll do it.
It's Cabin in the Woods, which is pretty damn good, actually. I really enjoyed that one. 2000 film Martyrs is a horror film which has the following storyline. Rosemary becomes increasingly panicked about her painful pregnancy. At the height of the Vietnam War, a group of young hippies travels through Texas. A female FBI agent trying to prove herself is gaslit by one imprisoned serial killer. A bourgeois family's home hides a basement with disturbing experiment.
I didn't watch it, so.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one myself, but I'm process of elimination, I think, has given me the correct answer. Everybody's going with 1. Guys, it's a good guess, but it is in fact number 4. Number 1 was the plot of Rosemary's Baby, which is pretty good film. Creepy as shit. One of the best devils I've ever seen on screen. It's about the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, the story of the following film begins with television reporter taking part in a dangerous police operation intended to trap a psychopath. Pretty sure we've talked about this one recently. The Howling, The Exorcist, Psycho, or Freaks?
I know the answer, but I'm gonna let the chat choose. Alexia says she remembers the movie, not the name. 7 says 3, so I'm guessing that's Psycho. Kohai says 4. Alexia says 1. 7 says 1. 7, you trying to corner all the answers.
Well, I think those ones you're seeing there were from the previous question.
Previous question.
Actually, yes, it was definitely Chucky. No, it was The Howling. We actually talked about this movie. It wasn't last week. I think it was the week before.
I think it was the week before, yeah.
In which we mentioned this opening part of the film. I think, pretty good. It's funny that they just call him a psychopath. He's not just a psychopath. He's all kinds of horrible shit. But Christine is a horror film released in 1967, 1972, 1979, or 1983.
I know the answer to that one too, and I'm going to leave it.
I actually don't. So I'm going to go with however chat lands on this.
It's a King movie.
Right.
But I've seen it so many times that I know the answer to it. It's one of my favorite King movies.
It looks like everybody's leaning toward. Yeah, pretty sure that's not it. Excuse me. If you guys don't smoke, don't start. It's not good. That's why I could do such a convincing Gollum voice. Yeah. See, I think Alexia's right now. The film I think was released. I'm gonna guess here. I think it was in 79. I was wrong. It was in 83. The year of the car itself, though, I think you're right. Was a 67.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a Plymouth, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Plymouth.
Yeah.
I think it was. Wait, I think it was. It was a 67 Plymouth. All right, last one. The plot follows a farmer, a butcher, a motel manager, and a meat entrepreneur. Oh, okay. They're all the same thing. Vincent Smith, who traps travelers and harvests them for his human sausages, is the point of the horror film.
Rosemary's Baby, Motel Hell, or Psycho.
Ding, 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 ding.
I was starting to think of that scene at the end of Young Frankenstein when Madeline Kahn comes in and she's got her hair all done up like the Bride of Frankenstein. It's like.
So majority says Motel Hell.
Yep, I'm gonna go with that. That is in fact correct.
Motel Hell.
We've got 42.
We made it through.
Not too bad. 42 out of 50. That's pretty good.
That's like what, an A-?
Yeah, considering how poorly worded most of this was.
I mean, good night. Yeah. That was crazy.
You know what? Though, this was a lot of fun, chat. I actually look forward to doing this again next week.
Yeah, next week is gonna be a bit different because, like I said, it's not multiple choice. You either know the answer or you don't. You have to click on it to see the answer. So, but it definitely had some really, really good questions on there. So we'll see how that goes.
You know what, man? So much for you being the bandwagon.
So the person I got an F.
Yeah. No, I think everybody did pretty good, considering because they did ask some questions about some obscure shit too. But some of those were just
Brutal.
giveaways.
Yeah, Alexia, you're right. I'm shocked. There were no Jeepers Creepers questions either.
I think that a lot of people lean away from including Jeepers Creepers stuff into things like this because of who made that movie.
Who made it?
A convicted child molester named Victor Salva.
Whoa,
Same guy who created Powder.
that's right. You're right
Yeah.
about that. Now I remember. I remember that came out.
Unfortunately, he is a talented filmmaker. The fact is that evil doesn't necessarily preclude talent.
No, it
He is a
doesn't.
giant piece of shit, but I do like that movie, Jeepers Creepers. But because of that, a lot of that stuff gets left out because of the man who created it.
All right, guys. Now we get the, and trust me, this list is short. This is just a considering what we just went through. Man, that hurt my head. That hurt my head. So I was looking at, since of course, since we're going through horror movies for the entire month, we all know that the horror movies are not going to stop in October. They're going to go through. So out of curiosity, I was wondering what was coming next. Well, I'm sure you guys probably know that Halloween Ends is, well, as of 57 minutes ago, is available on Peacock and in the movie theaters. So it's Jamie Lee Curtis is her latest addition to the franchise. And if you guys saw the one that she came out with last year, I mean I'm sorry, that one was beyond horrible. I mean, that had to be one of the worst horror movies, period. Not just out of the franchise, but period. So I'm gonna do I'd like to do a review on that next week as well. I'm not expecting much out of it. So I'm not even gonna make a big home watching spectacle because I'm expecting a I'm expecting what I saw last year, which ended with me being upset that I had lost an hour plus of my life watching it.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. I'm probably not going to watch that one.
Yeah, I'm just I'm not expecting anything. Um, but yeah, Halloween Ends comes out tomorrow, October 20th. Guys, I'm sure you've heard of VHS. So apparently it's an ongoing anthology, and that will be out on October 20th. For those of you who are wondering, one of the skits that VHS came out with years ago resulted in a 2016 film called Siren. Same girl that was in VHS
Hey, Brent.
is the siren well, of course, in the title name. The next one is a movie called The Menu that's coming out next month. Now, this one I'm curious about because who in their right mind gets on a plane and flies out to a secluded island to try some guy's food? Yeah, I mean, I saw the. I was in the theaters. I went to see me and some friends. I think it was when me and my buddy went and watched Batman. I want to say that's when they first showed the trailer for it, and I was just like, who in the world would go all that way just to try escargot on a plate? I just I didn't get it. So, but that'll be out next month. Um, Here's one, and there's a photo of it and everything. It's called Megan. It kind of reminds me of, you ever seen a 1980 movie? It's called, I think it's called My Best Friend. It stars Christy Swanson, where she dies, and her friend takes his robot's brain and puts it in her head because he's trying to save her because she gets accidentally killed, and she, I mean, basically turns full robot. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but this movie seems to remind me of that, and I think that's where the director got the idea. But they got this young girl and dressed her up to make her look like a robotic girl, and she looks creepy as heck.
Yeah, I
I
don't think I
don't.
saw that.
I mean, just looking at it scare, I was like, oh, the special effects, either they got one hell of a special effects artist or whatever they CGI, whatever they use, but that girl looked creepy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Real quick, number one, Brent, glad you could make it. Uh, that's unfortunate. Um, we are also seeing problems with like notifications across the board. So, I mean, go ahead and click the bell and hopefully it'll get through to you. I do have a new communications tab or community tab. So I'll be using that too to kind of like update people on what's coming up and that kind of thing. So hopefully that helps. Um, but otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. YouTube's all kinds of like all over the place these days.
yeah, I think in the midst of them stabbing everybody in the back, so to speak, they're panicking because people are jumping the rumble.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and the other thing is Mrs. Voorhees. That's
Uh,
right, Ghostface. I'm not letting you come after me.
Hold on, Alexia. It's they put the robot's brain in the girl's body.
Hmm.
So
What was this called again?
um, let me look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. Christy Swanson was in it. You said?
Yeah, she was the main character.
Huh. Weird.
Let me look it up. This is a 80s movie, so I'll have to go all the way down to the 80s. Let me check.
She would have been real young then.
Deadly Friend, 1986.
Yeah, I don't. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, her character is killed by her father. The new kid in town attempts to save her by implanting a robotic microchip into her brain.
Huh.
But then she goes nuts and starts killing people. And then she goes after the end, if I remember correctly. Well, I'm not going to spoil the end because somebody might watch it.
No worries, Carrie. And Bo, good to see you. Yeah,
Oh,
no problem.
before I drop on this list, so I'm not going to go through the whole list. Um, Last Voyage of the Demeter is basically it's the boat ride about
From Dracula. Yeah.
from Dracula. So it's from the crew members' perspective
Mhm.
when they start disappearing one by one, wondering what in the world is on the boat killing them.
There was an author named P.N. Elrod a few years ago who wrote a kind of a sideways sequel to Dracula called Quincy P. Morris Vampire, where because Quincy the Texan, he dies at the end of that story. He wakes up a few days later a vampire, and as it turns out, Dracula was pulling a fast one and faked his own death.
Okay.
So
There's another one called Knock at the Cabin. That's coming out in February. So it's from Last Voyage on Megan on. This is 2023. Knock at the Cabin. It stars that guy Batista. I didn't really look at the premise for that one, but they're in a cabin, so and he's wearing glasses, so I guess they're safe. Scream 6 is coming out in March 31st.
why?
Followed by. What do you mean why?
I mean, why?
Because it's a great franchise.
Didn't Scream 5 bomb?
Maybe in some circles.
I
I
don't
thought
know.
it was pretty good.
I kind of forgot that it happened.
I thought it was pretty good. Scream is one of those franchises that can keep going because of the way that it operates. Now, what kills it is stop bringing back Sidney Prescott and all of them, but of course they're bringing them back for the sixth one. But if
You're saying is that you hope that that Sidney Prescott gets got.
at some point she has to. Even Freddy Krueger got his hands on old girl by A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. The girl that he had been trying to get. at least he finally got his hands on her.
Man, that's not going to happen anytime soon. The way things are going in Hollywood, because she's the final girl, so she has to. She can never be in any real danger. She can never come to any real harm or anything like that. Why do you think Jamie Lee Curtis is still heading the Halloween films?
Yeah. Well, but that's been going on. I mean, going back to Freddy, the last girl in part 4, he never killed her. She was in 4 and 5. He never got her. He never got her.
Is that the one about that has no, I was thinking of Come to Daddy with Elijah Wood. But Frailty, isn't that one about like a guy, and he's either got an apprentice or a kid or something like that. He's training up to be a serial killer to take his place or something. I don't know.
I don't know. But I will tell you about number 8, Renfield. Remember Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Redfield? Redfield, the guy that
yeah, I know. I know
he
who you're talking about. I just looking at Bo's comment. It's like Star Trek 17, so very old.
That's like the cliche way to die too. They fall trying to run, and normally it's not a hip, it's an ankle or a kneecap or something like that. Let's see. Oh, here's one: Evil Dead Rise. That one's coming up.
Now, is this a sequel to that Evil Dead remake they did a couple years ago, or is it part of the Sam Raimi movies?
I believe it's a sequel of the new one that they came out with.
Okay, because if it was full on like coming after Army of Darkness, I'm all in, baby. But
Bruce Campbell is one of the executive producers.
Well, yeah, but he was an executive producer on the last one too, and it was like a whole lot less Sam Raimi and a lot more like I don't know. It's like it took it more seriously.
Yeah, they did,
and at the same time, it wasn't as good.
Well, I thought there was some things that they could fix, but it was definitely serious.
Yeah. It didn't have the rawness of the really, really, really low budget of the original.
No, but it was good for what it was. Let's see, Insidious 5 is coming out. So I've only seen the first one. After that, I was like, I'm not watching any more of these.
That's about like demonic like possession and shit, right?
Yeah. Then you got Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot, I found out, went through a bit of trouble because it was actually supposed to come out last month, and then it got pushed to, I think, summer of next year, and then it got taken off completely, and now it says April. So it seems like there's some kind of fight going on with Salem's Lot. There is a direct sequel to The Exorcist coming out. With the mom from the Ellen Burstyn, the lady that played the mom, she is one of the main characters in it. Her daughter is not in it. The daughter's not in it. So the premise is some guy's child is possessed, and so he's looking for Ellen Bernstein's character because she went through it before. So it's a direct sequel, but it's not about Reagan. It doesn't look like Reagan's gonna have anything to do with it. And then your favorite Saw 10 is coming out next October.
There are already 10. There are already 9 of those movies. I thought they stopped at like 6 or 7.
That's what I thought.
So they made 2 more that nobody ever heard about,
I guess. Good night, Queen Lala.
Hey, yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out and playing the game with us. We do this on Thursdays, and then usually later in the night, and then on Saturdays we have I do another panel stream at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, give or take a few minutes, every Saturday too, which is a little bit earlier in the day, a little easier for people to get to. Appreciate you coming, and I will keep you posted as to the Lioness's ongoing predicament and all that. And otherwise, have a great night. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and guys, once again, just to reiterate, Sam and I really appreciate you guys coming through. Hopefully tonight was entertaining for you guys. Next week we're gonna have some more stuff for you guys. Throw some things in, and
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a trivia that was written by someone who is fluent in English.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna. I'm definitely gonna do a better search next time. I just saw the trivia and I was like, okay, this looks good, um, but I didn't read through all the questions. I didn't answer any of them. I just didn't read through all of them, and so
Yeah,
that's my fault.
it was weird too because it's like all of the sentence structure was backwards, like it would be in one of the Romance languages, but it was leaving out infinitives like Russian does.
Yeah,
It was very strange. Yeah,
yeah, it definitely was. But
yeah, it was fun.
guys, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Thank you guys for participating. Like I said, next week, um, maybe we can do something on some, a few horror games that people may or may not have heard about. I'd like to do something on scariest places in the country, maybe even the world.
Hmm.
You know, and we'll see where we go from there. We'll put some visuals up for everybody, and you know, see how it goes. They made a Saw TV show.
Did they? Oh, I probably won't watch that either.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Yep. Real quick before I let everybody go, remember that for those of you who weren't here at the top of the stream, I have started backing up my content on Rumble. The link is in the description of this stream. I can't stream there simultaneously as we do on YouTube until I get like 100 subscribers over on Rumble. For some reason, that's like the bare minimum they have to allow you to stream on Rumble. So if you guys are into supporting alternate tech or whatever, go ahead and go over there and subscribe. Meantime, I'm going to keep doing this on YouTube until they kick us off. Um, so that said, you know where to find me here. This is what we do. Occasionally, I do fun shit in the middle of the night, like last night. Got this regular stream on Thursdays and on Saturdays again. Reiterate, we've got Screaming Into the Void, approximately 4 p.m. Mountain Time. That said, Larry, you were in the middle of something, and I just steamrolled right over you.
No, I was done.
Oh, okay. um, Larry's channel, by the way, is also in the description. If you feel like throwing him a subscribe.
Yeah, there's nothing on it, guys. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I want to. I guess I have to do something here or on Rumble, but I'll figure it out eventually. I'll figure it out.
Hey, Boa, we've talked about this, man. I cannot make her do that, and I don't actually have the kind of access you're talking about. I can't link her shit to my Rumble, and I definitely can't do it without her permission. Right now, she's leaning closer to it, but she is not on board yet,
Yeah.
and you know how that goes. Like she will do it or she won't. It's ultimately up to her. I know
Yeah.
you keep saying this. I know Kara keeps saying this. We agree with you. Larry and I agree with you, but it's up to her.
Yeah. But I will tell you this though. When they blocked her channel, she was to say that she was pissed is an understatement. And we spoke to her, and she was finally like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I might have to start going to Rumble more and let the chat know, because what they're doing right now is just ridiculous.
Mhm.
And as far as I'm concerned, and what YouTube is doing, it has to be a violation of their terms of service in some way, because you're still messing with, we're an independent contractor, especially if you're making money, but they have. I'm sure there's some kind of law that they're breaking.
Well, I'm not sure. If you're asking for the link to my Rumble channel, it's in the description of this stream, and it will be in the description of future streams on YouTube as well. So it'll be there's a direct link there. Regarding hers, I know she has a Rumble channel. Somebody did set that up for her, but she hasn't used any of it. Yeah, no worries, man. I think she does know that, but I will pass it along anyway. She appreciates the support, So I guess that said, we're probably gonna call it for the night.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to get up early anyway, so I'm
Yeah.
going straight to bed.
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised Kerry stopped in. I figured he would because I didn't let him know we were doing the stream right after he got done yelling at me in the email about not letting him know about last night's. Apparently, he's within range of he's got reception now, but I don't think he can jump on a computer just yet. But he can be in the chat, kind of thing. So.
Alrighty.
Yep. Good night. Good night, Kohai. We'll see what happens. And yeah, appreciate it, man. And yeah, just have a great night. Alexia, good to see you. Everybody who came and hung out and played the game with us. Thank you. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed tonight's stream. Have a great night. This is Samuel the Infamous, along with Lawrence Knight, signing off. And remember, YouTube, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras.
Good night, everybody.